Well, we finally have some more information about Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, and today I'm going to tell you why I believe that Ilphonic is doing a better job as far as the escape routes than Texas Chainsaw specifically. Now, if you're not familiar with my channel, Texas Chainsaw, since August, has pretty much put my channel up and over a certain threshold that I simply wasn't able to reach before. And so if you think that I'm a hater of Texas Chainsaw, nothing could be further from the truth. I absolutely love that game, and while I see some of its limitations, I also respect the game for what it is. And so this isn't just a shiny new game and it's better than everything else, but specifically I really want to talk about the one big aspect to Killer Clowns that I think is already better than Texas Chainsaw and some of the other asymmetrical games out there. Now, if you like to see Texas Chainsaw, Killer Clowns, Friday the 13th, and other horror-related videos, and even some live streams, make sure you subscribe down below. Let's go and get into it. Now, you may be thinking, what could you possibly say is better in a game that you haven't played, also a game that hasn't even been released yet? Well, I'm really talking about the escape routes. And so now we know what those escape routes are. We have the boat, which is really cool because, you know, if you played Friday the 13th, the boat escape was probably one of the least used, but it was also really fun, especially if Jason caught on to what you were doing and you had to escape. And, you know, considering how fast he was in the water, it could get a little dicey, but I always liked that escape specifically. But this time it's a little bit different. So now we have a gas can and a spark plug is what's needed instead of the propeller and a gas can. We also have the bunker escape, and so this requires a gas can again, and it also requires a special access key card. You have a portal escape, which is going to require a spark plug for each time that portal is used, and again, it's only open for a certain amount of time. That's going to be a reoccurring theme here. And then you have the main gate key, which is actually blocked, so it's going to require the survivors to bash that door down and then open up the gate. Now, the clowns are not going to just be helpless in all of this. Of course, they have a variety of different tools at their disposal. Interestingly, it's kind of like Friday the 13th, which makes sense because this game is made by Ilphonic. But you'll notice in the trailer that they just released that you actually have different abilities similar to Jason's different abilities, or it could be just different ways to actually kill the victims. You have special abilities, you have stamina, and of course you have health. But the clowns can also block the escapes with their cotton candy, which will require you, the victim, to rip that stuff away and then try to proceed and escape. Now, what I really like about the escape routes, obviously there's variety here, which is really cool. By the way, there is one more escape route that I haven't talked about yet. I'll mention here in a second, but just related to the 4 escape routes I just talked about. First of all, there's a limit on how many people can actually use them. One big issue with Texas Chainsaw is if you got some survivors together and let's say y'all all went for the valve exit or the generator exit, whatever map that may be, all 4 of you could escape, troll, whatever, and then, you know, that's it. But there's a limit on how many survivors can actually escape, and they've done it in pretty smart ways. Obviously, the boat is fairly simple because that is limited to the amount of space, which is going to be 3 people. The bunker, it's only going to stay open for 15 seconds, and once 3 people pass, it's going to close. The portal, it's only going to stay open for a certain amount of time, which will allow you to jump in there, but if somebody else comes up behind you, let's say 20 or 30 seconds later, they're going to have to go through the process and have another spark plug as well. And the gate exit. So when 3 victims actually pass over the bridge is going to collapse and you can no longer use that escape route. So because we have now 3 clowns versus 7 victims, this is going to really help to obviously diversify the map. It's going to spread things out much more than what you're going to get in something like Texas Chainsaw. So that's one thing that Friday the 13th was really good about because, you know, you could only fit 4 people in the car. You could only fit a couple of people in the boat. So there was never like just this one big escape route. Maybe aside from calling the police, but again, that would require getting everybody on board too. So that was probably the one exception. Now, there's one more escape route that I actually didn't talk about. By the way, all of this is timed, okay? So just like Friday the 13th, so it's going to add another layer of pressure to pretty much everybody, which I really appreciate that. Now, once the time gets down, I think it's going to be under a minute or under 30 seconds. You're going to have a limited amount of time to make your final escape, otherwise you're just going to die. And that is when the Terenzi brothers actually bust through the wall in the ice cream truck. You're going to have that last opportunity to escape. Now, there's a lot more that goes into this game. There is a ton of different aspects to the map itself. The map looks absolutely huge, sprawling. You of course have the alien ship, which is actually like a big circus tent to explore, and I'm hoping that we actually get to explore the inside of that, and it's not just a set piece. And there's a lot of different areas and variety to it. It's not just the carnival. So I'm really excited about this game, man, and I'm excited to make more videos about it. But this is one area that I think IllFonic is already going to be doing a better job than Texas Chainsaw, which is really going to spread out the team and make you have to maybe even do some of these things on your own. And of course, it's going to come down to sometimes are you going to wait on your team to come to the exit that you just worked really hard to, figure everything out, or are you going to leave them behind and say, hey, screw it, I'm out of here? So I can't wait to see how a lot of these games play out. That's my take on it, man. I'd love to hear yours down below. What do you think about Killer Klowns from Outer Space? And what do you think about the different escape routes that they actually have set up in place so far? I'd love to hear from you guys on any of these topics. What do you think about Texas Chainsaw? Are you still enjoying it? Will Killer Klowns take Texas Chainsaw's place as one of the best asymmetrical horror games out there? Whatever you feel and however you feel about these games, let me know. Again, if you like what I do, consider subscribing. See y'all in the next one. And as always, hold them down.